Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another multiplayer quick battle. This time I'm playing as the High Elves and I'm up against the Lizardmen, and this is a doozy of a battle. So I'm bringing a pretty standard build for myself. I do have a mage caster here with me this time, bringing Plague of Rust to help me bring down any big monsters that my opponent might have brought. A couple units of archers in the back and a pretty strong cav contingent right here. 2 Illyrian Reavers and 1 Silverhelms. Basically, my idea with them was just kind of sweep the forest and make sure that there were no Chameleon Skinks hiding there. But of course, there's one vanguarded behind me, which I should have expected. And then there's one in front here, and there's one more off to the side here. So my opponent might have thought that I might have deployed over here, in which case it would have sandwiched me. But yeah, double Sun Dragon, techless, you know the drill. My opponent has brought again 3 Chameleon Skinks, Skink frontline supported with another line of Source Warriors, 2 Feral Bastiladons, which I was pretty surprised to see, but they do have solid armor at 140, so these things are absolute tanks. The Plague of Rust only is going to drop this down to, I think if you overcast it, it's -60, so 80 armor is solid. A Skink Priest of Beast, a unit of Temple Guard, the Star Chamber Guardians, Regiment of Renown, and Gor-Rok himself, the man, the myth, the legend, coming in with 100 armor and a silver shield and a mace to absolutely crack some high elf skulls. Last but not least, the cohort of Sotek here. So we're going to be looking to hold this front line back for as long as possible while we get our calves sweeping around. I haven't seen any Chameleon Skinks yet, so they're either in the back here, in my opinion, or they don't exist. And lo and behold, we do stumble across one as we come out of the woods. Looks like we took a Amber Spear maybe to the face, but either way, I do need to get these Sun Dragons engaged in the front line. These Chameleon Skinks do pop up though, and with the Sun Dragons kind of just chilling, I do decide to go all in for them. Drop a net. I'm not dealing with this skink nonsense. We're going to shut them down ASAP. In the meantime, the frontline engagement is going pretty well. The Silvern Guard is holding quite well. The Spearmen, not so much. But nevertheless, they're doing okay. The White Lions do unfortunately get charged by the Source Warriors, and we are going to absolutely terrify these Chameleon Skinks. I do drop the Fiery Convocation here, which, while it's going to do some solid work to the Cult of Sotek, it does also hit the Skink cohort and the Source Warriors here at the tail end. I will probably regret that later on. We are able to break the right flank. The front line engagement is going absolutely wonderfully. The archers are more or less safe. We have one of the Bastiladons down to about half health, but now Gor-Rok is starting to arrive to the front line. We breath attack the Bastiladon here, which ends up doing honestly more damage to my own units than the Bastiladon. But nevertheless, we are able to break it, or almost break it, but then the clutch stand your ground goes down from my opponent. Good stuff there. We are able to shatter this unit of Skinks here off the side. I do need to pull these Spearmen back to support the archers as they're getting charged in the back by a Bastiladon. I don't know if running away from the Manticore was the right idea. Maybe I was just repositioning to support the archers here with my dragons. But the front line is starting to fall apart. There's 3 Feral Bastiladons, I just realized. Holy cow. So I don't know. Pretty sure you can only bring 2 in tournament rules. Obviously, this is not a tournament setting or anything like that. So more power to you, to my opponent. Drop a big AoE net right here so I can reposition. We are looking to get a breath attack down because I do see some pumping going on here. However, I don't know how clean that's going to be since it's kind of a retroactive breath attack. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that was nothing to write home about at all. Big waste of my breath attack. Might have been better off using that Fiery Convocation right here. Pretty big cluster of units there. Probably would have done some solid damage. But now we're going to dive into the Sun Dragons to try to shut down this Bastiladon that's been the bane of my archer's existence. And another unit of Skinks coming back, getting into the back line here. So probably should have kept my Lyrian Reavers a little safer to chase off the skinks. But I did try to use them to shut down the chameleon skinks instead, which so far has not paid off at all. Balance of power is kind of slipping out of my hands here at this point. I'm trying to keep my dragons safe while they still have breath attacks at least. And Techless apparently going to town on some chameleon skinks over here. And of course, no sooner than I say that do I drop them into a big blob. Trying to get my archers free so they can keep firing. In the meantime, I'm using my remaining unit of silver helms to kind of sweep the back and keep these chameleon skinks busy. I do drop a big net down, and here comes a fiery convocation. Looks like it's going to do some pretty solid damage. We got Temple Guard right here, who are armored. Beautiful right down the pipe stuff there. Doesn't look like it does too much damage to the Temple Guard, unfortunately, but it does do some pretty solid damage to the Saurus Warriors. Actually, these were Saurus Warriors here that I was thinking were Temple Guard, which explains why they took more damage. Dropping a regrowth on this Sun Dragon and pulling this one out. I decided to heal this one because the other Sun Dragon was routing. Looks like it does stabilize a little bit. Drop that last breath attack into the backs of these units, which actually does more damage than the one that I had over here when they were netted. That one was a little sloppy though. Probably should have pulled them in a little closer before I had casted the breath attack. And now we're going to drop in yet again. We're all out of breath attacks here, so it's do or die. Trying to get some terror routes going. Maybe see if I can't break some of these units over here. Free up my metal caster, who has not really been able to do too much this battle. I do spot the Skink Priest of Beast has come back, and I do have the Silvering Guard over there, so we're going to try to shut that down. Silver Helm's also going to move over that way. So unfortunately, my army's really spread out at this point. But we do get a nice surround here. I guess I can't really call it a surround as my archers are terrified and running away. But we do get a nice couple hits rather, on the Feral Bastiladon over here that was probably routing. We caught it on its way back, or he caught it and charged it into my archers on its way back. We are able to kill outright that Feral Bastiladon, so it definitely won't be coming back. Gonna look to reform my ranks here on this hill, as I got a unit of white lines to come back, and both my archers, although beaten up, have rallied. Trying to get my other Sun Dragon to dodge these chameleon darts with their blow darts, but unfortunately he's got to fly over that rock for some reason that was not directly in his flight path. So he's going to be taking quite a bit of damage on the way out, because when they're going over structures like that, it does kind of slow them down a bit. So yeah, things are looking very dire for me. I'm probably quite low on Winds of Magic. I have no Fiery Convocations left, no Breath Attacks left, and my opponent has a whole horde of Saurus Warriors, not to mention 1.5 Feral Bastiladons, and half my remaining army is on the other side of the field between us and them. My Sun Dragon, unfortunately, is not able to return before it routes, and again, it's flying over this thing that's not in its path. You gotta love it. The Sun Dragon, hopefully it comes back, but at this point, we do get a nice charge onto these skinks over here, get an instant terror route, and hopefully we can chase them off the field so they stop annoying me. We do get a... I think I just saw an archer's arm go flying as Bastiladon charges into them as they try to shoot it. The Bastiladon armor is absolutely coming in completely clutch here. So
There is no hope.
I think there's definitely something to the Bastiladon into the High Elf matchup, actually, because the High Elves really don't have much in the way of armor-piercing missiles. So the Plague of Rust is the only way that they can get that effective missile fire down. And with the Bastiladon still having 80 armor after the overcasted version of Plague of Rust goes down, they're pretty solid into this matchup for sure. So really good pick by my opponent there. Perhaps just showing the experience of my opponent in this one. So I do try to one last charge into Chameleon Skinks here with these look like silver helms. Yep, they're terrified. Not great, but I am able to rally what's left of my forces and just kind of reconnect with the units that were on the other side of the field. So now we're just kind of biding our time, waiting for our winds of magic while my opponent chases off what's left of my army. And I'm going to bring the Silverhelms on a nice little scenic route here, back to reconnect and regroup with my main army now, air quotes. However, with my opponent starting to reform, I think we're safe to take this route. But he does try to sneak over Bastiladon here. Let's see if I notice it in time to try to intercept the Silverhelms. So, pretty solid pursuit angle there. I do notice it looks like I can redirect my Silverhelms away from that Bastiladon. And yeah, we're just kind of biding our time. So I'm going to get a little fast forwarding going here while we just try to reconnect with our Silverhelms who nearly get caught by the Bastiladon there. That does not add up. So 78 speed here. And are the Silverhelms really 78 speed as well? That's actually wild. Okay, Bastiladon has 40 speed, so what probably happened is the Silverhelms got slowed down by the forest. No problemo. We're back in action now, so this is a doozy of a battle here. Gonna keep fast forwarding it here because we're just gonna go do a feint, try to pull in my opponent. This is where I really wish I had that fiery convocation, or at least a breath attack in the pocket. Looks like we're dropping a net down, and we're gonna hope to... Oh, we got one breath attack left. Gonna hit the Star Chamber Guardians with it, which is solid value. However, their formation was pretty loose there, so maybe not the best use of the breath attack. But it does look like we're going for a mass terror out here on this side. The net of Amatok is still active, so the supporting units... Oh no, it just goes down. So the Source Warriors are actually going to be able to support. We do get a double terror route going there, but at the cost of basically our entire army. Looks like I am able to get the Sun Dragon and Teclis out. We're going to sacrifice our Sorcerer of Metal here. She's done great work and done her people proud, taking the bullet for Teclis as he escapes. And now we're just going to be using Teclis as we make our way out of there. While the oh no, what an unfortunate animation for my Sun Dragon. We're going to use Teclis to chase off these units here. And hope to God, oh no, he does another dive into the back line. That's really unfortunate. So hopefully we can get the Sun Dragon out. That was a ton of damage I definitely did not need to take there. If there was any hope of me pulling back this game, that might have done it there. So I am going to yet again sacrifice another unit to get my more important Sun Dragon out of there. My Silverhelms do look like they're rallying. And they break. So not sure what that notification was about there. Thank you, Silverhelms, for your service. And Metalcaster, who died over here. That might be her. Nope, that's Silver. Not quite sure where she even died, but we'll make sure to put down a marker in that general vicinity for her great service to the crown, or whatever Teclis might be. But yeah, I'm going to do some fast forwarding here because we're just going to be pushing these units off. When I'm playing quick battles, I am trying to simulate a tournament setting for myself, so I'm going to be trying to obey the attacking rule as much as possible, which chasing units off does count as attacking, as long as they're not shattered. So I'm going to be pushing these units off the edge of the map or as far as possible, or as close as possible rather, when I think they will go off the field. But being that these are Lizardmen, yeah, this one comes back. That one does shatter, though, luckily. We do feel like we've got a pick here, so I'm going to use Teclis to hold the Bastiladon in place while I charge the rear with my Sun Dragon. Nice hammer and anvil with Teclis and a Sun Dragon. But now that it's rampaging, I feel that I can get it to come closer to the edge of the map, so it's going to chase Teclis and get my Sun Dragon out of there before he gets surrounded again. But yeah, since it's rampaging, it's just going to keep trying to attack Teclis, so I'm going to try to pull it over to the side of the map. And since this one seems to be grouped with these guys, he's just walking it over. So we're going to take this time to get a pick, hopefully, on the Feral Bastiladon here. Try to claw our way back into this game. Big hit there on the Bastiladon, and it looks like it's going to get a terror route going, unless the Bastiladon can... Yeah. So the Bastiladon does cause terror, so it's not going to get terrified. but it is routing, and Teclis is hopefully going to be able to chase it off. Teclis, you got to get going there, bud. There's a Bastilodon behind you. It does look like it's starting to rally, though, so I do need to get a couple hits in on it. Make sure it stays in the routing state. Keep its leadership nice and low. Sun Dragon flying overhead might do the trick. The edge of the map is right here, so we got quite a ways to go with it. Luckily, we're going uphill, so hopefully that Bastilodon won't catch us. And as if it knows what it needs to do, the Bastilodon turns to the side and just goes perpendicular to us. So again, this would, I think, count as obeying the attacking rule because we're chasing off the Bastilodon. But yeah, I'm going to do some fast forwarding here because we're just trying to keep this Bastilodon moving off the field. While I'm juking with Teclis. And kind of a balancing act here a little bit. We do get a terror route going on the Chameleon Skinks. And the Sun Dragon hopefully is able to get out. Bastilodon does come back. I'm going to try to get that charge animation that I had earlier to hopefully get my dragon out, but we do end up getting surrounded here. Teclis is left to fend for himself, so I bring the Star Dragon back in an attempt to get some terror routes going here. But with the Saurus Warrior's leadership being so high, I doubt that very much will happen. However, we do get a nice rampage going on the Bastilodon. So if I can get the Sun Dragon out here, I doubt I have any wins left, so I'm not going to be able to heal him, unfortunately. Stand your ground goes down yet again. Really solid stuff there. Brings the... Oh, and cold-blooded to stop the rampage, so good move there by my opponent. So I definitely would have taken advantage of that again, given the opportunity. But Teclis is being surrounded. He gets Gor-Rok. The uphill advantage to start smacking Teclis in the face. And nobody wants to stare Gor-Rok down, so I'm going to be trying to slip out of this fight. But Teclis does get terrified by the Bastilodon. And the Sun Dragon, being the last thing I have left, I'm going to concede as the Sun Dragon flies off into the distance like he never heard of Teclis before. That was probably the longest quick battle I've ever played. Good game to my opponent. Catch a breath. Fantastic build. Absolutely stomped me into the ground, I will say. My Sun Dragons barely were able to pay for themselves. This one paid for itself, actually. This one did not. Silver Helms did solid work. The Illyrian Reavers I tossed away, unfortunately, in the beginning. The Archers were compromised almost immediately. The White Lions did pretty decent. But yeah, other than that... Ooh, Teclis, 1700 damage value. Those Fiery Convocations were absolutely clutch. Let's check out the damage values for my opponent here. Bastilodons, not generating a ton of damage. But as you can see, just from their terror and their absolutely tanky unstoppableness, they were able to dive into the back line and just last forever while the front line of the Lizardmen were able to catch up. And the Skinks, of course, Chameleon Skinks, being absolute nightmares. Saurus Warriors did solid work as well. Temple Guard, 1700 damage. Nice damage value from them. Gor-Rok didn't really need to do much. Only 1200 value, but he had tons of health left, so lots of potential value there. And the Skink Priest I was able to shut down pretty early as well. So, like I said, good game to my opponent. This is easily the longest battle I've ever had. But yeah, it was really fun. Hopefully it was fun for you guys to watch. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.